today I wanted to show you my Sansevieria collection. I have started following the philosophy that anything new that I bring in is going to be a low light plant as far as house plants. I have a low light situation in my house. I don't have the best exposure, and I also have big trees that shade our home as well as overhangs. So it makes it hard to grow some of the higher light plants. It just doesn't meet their requirements. So I'm still struggling with lots of those, but my new policy is not to buy anything but low light plants. And Sansevieria are at the top of that category. They are wonderful for low light situations. And that's not to say that they don't need light. They still photosynthesize and they still do need a certain amount of light. They just don't like direct sunlight, but they tend to do better if they have a little more light than pure shade. So let me get started and show you what I have. Some of the bigger ones in the back I've had for a while, and I have to kind of guess on what they are. I believe that my big one, I'm going to kind of try to do a close-up here. I believe that is a Sansevieria laurentii. Let me zoom in on that. It's got a variegated center on the leaf, and then a golden edge, kind of a light green to gold edge. It might depend on the time of year how gold that looks, but that is a Sansevieria laurentii, and that's my biggest Sansevieria. It's a beauty, and I keep it. It gets a little bit of light in my family room, but much of the day it doesn't get too much light, and it does beautifully. And then over here, I have my Sansevieria moonshine. And that one is very green, except for the new growth. The new growth comes out more silvery. Let me try to get you down in there. So if you can see, I've got some new leaves in there, and they're much more silvery than the older leaves. And I've also tried to give this some more light, thinking that maybe the paler plants do need more light, but if you can see, that one is really a very, very silvery pale green, and it's so beautiful. So all of the new growth comes in that way. Some of the older growth is green, but that's a really pretty plant. And it has a little bit of a different habit, if you can tell. It's not quite as tall as the laurentii, but that one is a beauty, and I was really happy that it grew this summer. And then let me take you over here. These probably look familiar if you watched my Sansevieria cylindrica dividing video. I had divided up, I think it was, 7 plants in one tiny pot, and I've divided them up, and they're still looking kind of silly now, but they'll fill out those pots in a couple years, and each one will become their own plant. So I have some of those to gift and also to put in every room. So I'm excited about that. But that's the Sansevieria cylindrica. And you can see it's actually round. Give you a closer look there. But it's a round leaf, so it's very interesting. And then over here, this is a fairly new one for me. This is also a cylindrical Sansevieria, but it's called Bambino. It came with this cute little tag. I bought it at a posh nursery, so they had these cute little tags. But anyway, that one has a little bit of a daintier look. The leaves they're cylindrical, but they tend to be a little wispier and smaller. So I really liked the look of that one. And then back here I have another Sansevieria cylindrica, and you can see the way it grows. So what happens is when it's growing, it sends out what looks like a leaf. And you think, oh, well, it's not going to grow a cylindrical leaf. But then a cylindrical leaf comes up. So I'm wondering if this eventually dies off. We'll have to see. But they kind of grow sideways, and I'm hoping that that straightens up as it grows. But as you can see, there's a lot of new growth in here. So I'm really excited about that. A lot of these cylindrical ones are putting up pups, and that is always fun to see a plant do well and propagate itself. Now you guys might laugh, these are my whale fin Sansevierias. Look at the size of this little nub. I actually ordered these 2 tiny babies off of eBay for a very good price. And the only reason I'm trusting that they're Sansevieria whalefin is that they were on the same page as some very large Sansevierias that look like whale fins, and they were calling it whalefin. So I thought, well, these are just pups from that, and I'm just going to trust that at some point these will grow into very big, beautiful Sansevieria masonii whale fins. But as a bonus, they gave me this tuber, and I think it could possibly turn out to be the biggest one. So I thought that was really nice. Sometimes these growers will add a little bonus for you, which I think is so nice of them to do. But these are my whalefin babies and my whalefin nub. And you can wish me luck on that one. I'm really hoping for some success because I think it's such a neat looking plant. And then back here, I love this one. This is called the Sansevieria Tri-fasciata Whitney. And if you can see, it's kind of a reversed variegation. The variegation is on the margin and the green part is more towards the middle. Whereas on the laurentii, as you can see, the lighter parts on the outside. And so it's just interesting. It's a very interesting plant. I think it's beautiful. And it's done well since I got it. I also found this one on eBay. Sometimes you can find, you know, some interesting varieties that aren't in the big box stores. At least I haven't seen this in any of the stores around me. So I was happy to get that one. That's the Tri-fasciata Whitney. And this one is called the Sansevieria Golden Honii. And it's a variegated Sansevieria that's a little bit, let me just straighten it up. It's a little bit lighter. It's got a really golden tone to it, and it is so beautiful. And the honii, I think it's called honii, they are a bird's nest variety. So if you can see the difference between these two young plants, this one is much taller, and this one stays more compact and almost rosette shaped. And that is the golden honey. So I love that one. Here's another bird's nest Sansevieria, and this is just the Sansevieria honey. I'm not sure if this one has a specific name, but it's also that bird's nest shape, and this one really shows you the bird's nest look. So if you have a small space and you can't deal with really, really tall Sansevieria, this is a nice compact plant for you to pick up. And then over here, lastly, I have some propagations going on, and I believe this is the one that I propagated. Oh, it might have been, I think this was the one I propagated. I believe that this is the Sansevieria laurentii. We'll have to see what the sprouts look like when they come up, but this was from a leaf that I found on the floor at Home Depot. You know, and they just sweep these up and throw them away. So I asked if I could take it, and they said yes, and I did a propagation video on this, and all of these have taken root. So maybe in another 6 months we'll see some sprouts coming out. I don't want to disturb them and pull them out to show you the roots, but if you tug on it and it feels like it's hanging on, that means it has roots. So that was a successful propagation. I was really happy about that. And then this one, I think I might have gotten from my own plant, and I just popped that in. I had a damaged leaf, and I guess I trimmed it, popped that in. That's doing well. That might be a Sansevieria. I think it's from my own plant. So it's a laurentii, but it could possibly, I'm forgetting where I got that one now, but it could possibly be a superba, which I think is a wider variety, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to see what that looks like. And lastly, this is a Cylindrical, a Sansevieria Cylindrical. And that one I also found at Home Depot. So I'm not sure if that's the one I found, or if that's the one I found, or if both. But it doesn't really matter the origin. These are Sansevieria propagations. But this is definitely the Cylindrical. So that is the all green variegated type, Sansevieria xylinica. And it's a very common but very beautiful Sansevieria, and it gets quite tall. But again, I had 4 cuttings. One did not make it, but all of these seem to have roots. This one's a little looser, but these are all hanging on. And that's how you know you have propagation success. So guys, if you're looking for a low light plant that's very easy, these also like to really dry out. So as far as watering, they're really easy. I probably water my adult ones every 2 weeks. The younger ones I do give more water. They seem to appreciate it, but I do let everything get pretty dry before I water it. So as far as a low light, low maintenance plant, I would highly recommend the Sansevieria class of plants, the genus. It is just easy and very rewarding and fun to propagate. So I know that I'll be expanding my collection, and I hope you have some of these plants to enjoy. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and for subscribing, for all your wonderful comments. I always love to hear what you have to say. Bye.